On April 10th, 2003, Kill Bill hit theaters. We're going to talk about that today on Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast.
Hello and welcome to Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, the premier flagship and international podcast of LRM Online and the Genreverse Podcast Network. I'm your host, Brandon Jones, and I'm here with Joseph Jammer Medina and producer Kyle Malone. We're gonna have a conversation about Kill Bill Volume 1 because, as Jammer mentioned, it is the anniversary of that film. And I'm actually kind of curious. You said a thing. I don't know if it's correct. You said April. You said April.
I meant to say October. What, did I say April?
You sure as fuck did.
I'm looking directly at it, clear as day. October 10th, 2003.
I know it screws you up because we mentioned,
Kill Bill Volume 2.
You know what? I'll take the blame for that.
No, don't take the blame for that. That was clearly a me problem.
I incepted you, though. I snuck in like Leonardo DiCaprio.
People are going to listen to this like, who the fuck is this guy?
Who's this guy?
Why are we going to talk to this guy? Oh, my bad. October 10th, 2003. I like why would we do the 20th anniversary like 6 months after the fact? Wait, May, June, July, August, September.
Because Hollywood has left us with nothing to talk about. That's why.
Well, that just rounds out this episode for the day. I think we're done, Kyle. We can just go ahead.
We're all done. Shut it down. Cut the check.
Shut it down.
Well, let's talk about this film. Let's have a conversation about this film. I'm going to give you guys some very quick stats. So this is a film that was directed by Quentin Tarantino.
What? No.
I'm doing a whole setup thing, and it's got a Rotten Tomatoes score. I'm doing a setup thing. It has an 85 from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes and an 81% from the audience. I am a little surprised. I don't think I've ever looked at the Rotten Tomatoes score for this film. I kind of expected the audience score to be higher than the critics. Does that surprise you at all, Jammer?
Yeah, it does actually. Does it, but doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm torn on that, and the reason why is because this is a very stylized movie. It is an unnecessarily inflated movie. It has its weird quirks. It is.
This guy's coming out hooking and jabbing.
I always to be clear, just straight up front, I love this movie. This movie, like everyone else, this is the typical kid growing up in the 90s thing. Oh, Kill Bill was very influential to me because it hit me at the right age, which it totally did. It was the first piece of Western media that I noticed that actually had incorporated anime. I said anime like a freaking weirdo, but anime as opposed to, I was gonna say animation and it messed up.
Barcelona anime.
Yeah, Barcelona. Like, it was anime, incorporated that into the story. Like the only other thing that we got that was remotely close to that was The Matrix, but still that was covered in live action. This one, it was just like, we're actually gonna put an anime in a Hollywood movie. And so there was it was very much, as an anime fan, very influential to me because I felt seen for the first time. Because up until this point, I wasn't about live action. I was all about anime. Yeah, yeah. I was an anime guy. Like, there's a reason why, looking back, like actually revisiting shows from the 90s and from the early 2000s, I'm reminded, this is why I wasn't into TV. TV wasn't for me back then for many different reasons. Like, they were either like, you have either spaceship or sci-fi shows, or everything else is just sitcoms. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. The point is, this movie was very influential to me.
Was that?
So this movie comes out 4 years. This film comes out 4 years after The Matrix. So
I mentioned The Matrix already.
I know. No. But what I'm saying is, you said you felt like you weren't seen.
Yeah.
And so this is a film that comes out 4 years after that. I was just curious.
I think what it was when The Matrix came out. Well, when The Matrix came out, I think I was probably started getting into anime in like 97, 98. So when The Matrix came out, it still wasn't. There wasn't that disconnect.
Hey, you just stole all that stuff.
I didn't feel that as much because I wasn't as invested. But by the time Kill Bill came out, I had watched a lot of anime and was able to kind of see that more. So yeah, it was really cool. It was very unique. I actually did not see this in theaters because I didn't even hear about it. I had to wait till I didn't see it. I didn't see it in theaters. Hadn't even heard it. I've heard of Quentin Tarantino, but I had never seen any of his movies. This is his first movie of his that I saw.
What the fuck?
Great. I've heard of
sorry.
Oh
Reservoir
my
Dogs. I've seen references
God.
to it. I saw Pulp Fiction, or I saw parts of it. Never heard of Jackie Brown before that. And then
and you
this is
really
the
like
first
Jackie
one.
Brown now.
Oh, I love Jackie Brown. Yeah, Jackie
Yeah.
Brown's great.
That's crazy.
Why is that crazy? I was 15. I was a youngin.
Weird. I think I'm only 5 years older than you. I don't know. That's weird. It's just a little surprising. A little surprising.
I think 5 years at that age is a big deal, though. You were 20.
Yeah, but at 15, I would still go to the movies to see Jackie Brown, or not Jackie Brown, but this. I
Kill
would have seen
Bill.
this in the theater. Yeah.
It was honestly,
Yeah.
It wasn't that I couldn't. It was more that I literally had not heard of it.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that? And just as a brief aside, talking about a movie that hit you at the right time, that was The Matrix for me. So that came out in 99. And so that was about the age that you're talking about
Well,
now.
exactly, because that's the thing. I think Matrix, yes, it was influential, but I think I was a bit young for it to be as influential as it probably is for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember watching The Matrix and walking outside and just like, I wish I could go back and watch that movie again for the first time, because I remember walking out of the theater like, oh my God, my brain is just like on the floor, just mind blown. But back to the subject of what we're talking about. Are you good? Are you done?
Sure. Yeah, we could dig deeper into it.
Let's dig deeper in a minute. So it's funny that you're bringing up The Matrix. So Yin Wu Ping, one of the reasons why this film stuck out to me so much because of the fight scenes is because he is the same guy, right? So the martial arts master who brought us The Matrix is also one of the people who worked with Quentin Tarantino to bring us this film, which I think is part of why it stuck out to me so much. Because if you look at Quentin Tarantino's work, even before or after, not just the martial arts work, not just the speech, like you already brought up anime, like this, to me, you could correct me if I'm wrong, feels like him at his most experimental and in some ways self-indulgent, right? Like you talked about how long it was. I love the idea of just incorporating anime. I love the idea of, the censors are going to slap us with an NC-17. All right, cool. We'll do this entire scene in black and white. And if someone didn't know that was the reason why, you would just think that this is just stylized violence. Like this is just Quentin Tarantino being Quentin Tarantino. And I love that about this movie. Like it feels like it's just everything in the kitchen sink. And to the best of my knowledge, having seen everything that he's directed, nothing before or after, even I think Volume 2, like nothing is like this film. This feels just the craziest and the most out there. And so for me, I get what you're saying about how influential it was, because it struck me very much the same way, almost to the point of when I saw Volume 2, it was a letdown, because while this is an homage to kung fu films and revenge films and things of that nature, Volume 2 slows it down a lot. And Volume 2 is more about spaghetti westerns and Ennio Morricone and all of that stuff, which is crazy because I love westerns. But it was just such a, like, I wanted a Big Mac and he was like, hey, here's a steak. I was like, I don't want your fucking steak. I want my Big Mac. And I've since grown and I actually like Volume 2 more now.
Oh yeah. I've always loved Volume 2 more than Volume 1 I think it's because back then I was very much all about the anime stuff. I wasn't, and I'm still not entirely that well versed in kung fu cinema or those types of movies. And so those other specific references, they don't hit me. Spaghetti westerns, though, I love spaghetti westerns. And those all hit me in terms of the feel and the style and everything and the music. Ennio Morricone, that stuff, it really hits.
Sergio Leone,
Though they even have the Ennio Morricone in this one. I think when is that song? I'm trying to remember what that song from the anime sequence is from. I know it's a spaghetti western. I just don't remember which one it is and if it's Morricone, but it still has that flavor and essence in there. And I think what's really cool about this movie really just merges like East and Western sensibilities into one. And it's kind of cool and unique.
I don't recall. I did not think that it was.
It probably isn't Morricone, but I think it is a spaghetti Western.
Okay, that's probably true.
Yeah.
So talking about how influential this film was, like, I think Battle. So bringing up the music, Battle Without Honor Humanity is still my ringtone. Like 20 years
Whoa.
later, that is the ringtone for
Update
my
your
phone. Like,
ringtone, bro.
no, to what? What's better?
Anything.
Give me something better. No, anything is not. No.
Okay.
One of the things I love about this film, and this is, I love this. So you look at Pulp Fiction and you look at the cast. It is a lot of dudes, one woman, right? This is a much better mix. Even Jackie Brown, right? Same thing. Lots of dudes, two chicks. This
The second chick,
is
Jackie Brown. Oh yeah, Bridget Fonda. Gotcha. Go ahead.
His little surfer girl.
And they never meet.
No. Oh yeah,
No,
they
they
do.
don't. Do they?
Sort of. Yeah, they're in the dressing room. Remember, I don't think
They don't see each other. They see each
but they
other's feet.
speak. Right.
Right.
So what I love about this film is the fact that he is able to portray women as these strong, fierce warriors, well-rounded characters. And it doesn't feel like pandering. It doesn't feel like they have more in common with Terminator 2 or Aliens style protagonists that are females than they do anything that I think exists in modern cinema. So like you get to see, even in the opening scene, you get to see the bride and Vernita Green, and you see Vernita Green like is a mother now. She's in suburban America. She's living her life, going to make cereal for her daughter who's coming home from school, but she's this whole other person that's just like a straight up fucking killer. And up until that point, even the bride doesn't know that she is still a mother. But you get to have these female characters that are just, again, not well represented, I think, in cinema today in the same way. And I love that about this movie. It's just a lot of fun to watch them just kick ass, and it doesn't feel perfunctory or feel like something that was kicked out by an algorithm.
Yeah, no, it's very much influenced by the things that Tarantino, like you said, his most indulgent and stylized. Like before this movie, he had just done crime movies, pretty much. Grounded crime movies, relative, not completely grounded. That whole sequence with the katana at the end of, freaking Pulp Fiction kind of, it took me out of it, not in a bad way, but it was just like, oh, this is a goofy movie.
It's different.
That's not even at the end though. But you know what I mean? It's different.
Yeah.
But like crime movies, and then even after that, he went to like more stylized westerns, but nothing as colorful and vibrant as I think this movie is. Like visually, this movie stands on its own, and I'm actually wondering what he's going to do for his last movie, if he's going to do something as experimental as this, because everything else has been really sort of just more chill.
So he has talked about how like that crazy 88 scene in this movie just like took it out of him. And I saw or read an interview where he talked about the fact that that was his attempt to throw himself in the ring of just like the great action directors. Like I think he even talked about that scene was supposed to be like a Flight of the Valkyries, right? In Apocalypse Now, like that, he wanted that to be the kung fu equivalent of that. And so to that point, the other thing that I love about this movie is it is a testament to him as an artist that you can very clearly see all of the influences and all the things that he's pulling away from without this film being derivative. And I think that is a testament to his ability to see what is actually good about those things, those genres and those films, like The Killer, or Game of Death, and not just steal like some people do, but actually just like grind it down to its most essential parts and finding like the best part of it and saying like, no, here's what you actually like about those things in this genre, which is great. Like it's incredibly impressive.
Controversial opinion.
I
do not like the fight scenes in this movie. I do not like the crazy 88 fight scene in this movie specifically.
Why?
It's boring. It's too long. And the action
I'll give you
itself
long.
isn't eye-catching enough for me to care. Like I watched it the first time, I was like, oh cool, but then I was watching it again, I'm like, this is kind of boring. They moving kind of slow. I don't know. Maybe it's because I was watching so much anime that I'm like, oh, these real people moving around is just so slow. I don't know how I feel about this. And every single time I watch it, I kind of zone out whenever the fight stuff happens. Like, granted, I like the fight scene at the beginning with Vernita Green. I like the fight scene at the end with Oren Ishii. I just don't like the Crazy 88 because I think it's done and it keeps going. I'm like, no. When what's his name comes out and he yells and all those people file in, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
No, we have 10 minutes. Jesus Christ, please no. Yeah, I'm over it at that point.
Here's a question. So you brought up anime again. I can't think. Is there a live action? So think about the fight scenes that you would see in something like Dragon Ball Z or something of that nature, or even some One Piece stuff. Have you seen a live action version of that you thought was like, oh yeah, that's as
Hustle.
good?
Maybe yes. The Matrix Revolutions is the closest in terms of like
that's
a DBZ
good.
Fight. No, but it's fine. It's not bad.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Matrix Revolutions was like the big one. Like that was literally a Frieza versus Goku fight, legitimately. I'm trying to think if there's anything else like that. And then
ending. There's
I think you're talking about emotionally. I'm just talking about visually.
No,
in the way the
no, yeah,
really.
visually.
So
visually.
Did either of you back in the 2000s there was a Korean, I don't know if it was like a series or movie that was adapted by MTV, and they had a whole bunch of rock stars and hip hop artists do the voice work for Volcano High?
No, I never heard that.
I remember that.
Okay, that right there was the thing that I think is like closest to a Dragon Ball Z fight in live action. Volcano High, yeah.
Let's see.
Damn it! I was gonna type in live action Dragon Ball, but that just brings up the terrible Dragon Ball movie.
Oh, yeah, not that.
No, there really aren't any, like, not that many, if any, like that I can think of at least. And even, when when Japan tries to adapt anime for like live action, it's usually terrible.
Okay.
So yeah, I can't think of anything that compares to it.
So if you had to give this a letter grade, what would you give it?
Give it a B plus.
B plus.
I think
I'm about the same.
Yeah, I think it's a little overly indulgent. The dialogue is, it's stylized, but oh my god, it is just weird. It is clunky. It's like dramatic and weird. And I get it. It's all about the style. And then there's certain like characters move in a way that like characters don't move that way. I will never get over the fact that what's her name? The bride misuses the word entropy. It should be atrophy. She's like, my feet have given away to entropy. I'm like, no, atrophy. That's not entropy, whatever the hell you're talking about. So there's some
I didn't
really
even
like,
I have to watch that again.
Oh, I've noticed for the past 20 goddamn years, Jonesy. And I've always, like, every few years I look, was I wrong about that? And I re-look it up. I'm like, no, that's just the wrong word.
Like, no, I literally word for a living. I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
Not it.
But maybe someone out there can prove me and say, like, hey, you know what? You're wrong. Let me know. But yeah, I actually would be open to whenever after you give your letter grade. I want to talk more about like the influence this movie had on.
I'm about the same. And if I have one regret, it's not even necessarily about this movie. I've been teased because this was originally shot as one film, and thanks to convicted rapist Harvey Weinstein, this was split up into two movies. So I'm upset at him for that. And it's
annoying because I know his theater is like the only place where they show the whole bloody affair, which is the entire thing. I used to live in LA probably when they were showing that, but I think I was probably too poor to go do that at the time. Like, I don't know how much it cost. No, it was like $30 probably. But
oh my god, really?
I'm assuming. I have no idea. But
for two people or just one person?
It's a 3-hour or 4-hour experience. I'm sure, and it's at his Beverly Theater or something. So I'm sure it's a little bit more than your average theater. Christ. And back when I lived in LA, a movie was easily $14 to $15. That was back in 2011, 2010. So
yeah. if I had a regret for this film, it would be that it is related to the whole bloody affair. It's the fact that so I don't know if you've seen any of the deleted scenes from this, but there is one with Michael Jai White and oh God, Kung Fu. Wow, David Carradine. Yeah. So watching like that fight scene would have been a lot of fun. And having that integrated back into the movie and a couple other things, I would love to see.
That was a Kill Bill 2 cut scene, I believe.
Was it? How do you know?
I think because David Carradine wasn't revealed yet as Bill fully. Doesn't matter. It's not a huge deal.
Yeah, the reason why I can't remember is because I've seen a version of the whole bloody affair, like it was like a fan edit, and so they took all the deleted scenes and all that stuff and put it together in a way that made sense. And I remember I showed it to this guy, and he was like, "Why would they cut this? Why would they?" And there were like a couple of scenes, and he was just like very upset. Anyway, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So sorry, Legacy.
Legacy. So I mean, this is a movie that it's stuck around in the pop culture zeitgeist for the past 20 years. It has imprinted itself into cinema. I was actually remember watching. Did you ever watch Robert Rodriguez's Director's Chair series? No. He has El Rey I don't even know what the status of El Rey Network is. That was his network that he has of his, and he had this series called The Director's Chair, where Robert Rodriguez would interview famous directors. He interviewed like Jon Favreau, Quentin Tarantino, I think James Cameron, I think a bunch of other type big directors.
One of the Scots.
Tarantino, one of the Scots, maybe. Anyway, so he interviewed Tarantino, and Tarantino was even talking about how cool it was, like how that Battle Without Honor and Humanity, whatever the heck the name of the song is, how like that incorporates into pop culture. He's like, oh yeah, that's like in Kung Fu Panda now and this and that. And I remember just thinking to myself, dude, watch Kung Fu Panda. That's funny to me that Quentin Tarantino watched Kung Fu Panda, among other things.
Or did someone like run to him and was like, hey, you got to watch this scene?
Maybe. But I mean, one thing
I think that's more likely.
I don't know if that's true, because as obnoxious as I find Tarantino in terms of his taste in cinema, it's very clear he watches everything. Like, he knows everything. He's just like, it's not for me. I'm going to watch it anyway and decide for myself. He just watches everything. So it doesn't surprise me that he does. That even though his filmmaking is very pretentious, what he watches doesn't seem like it is just as consumes pretentious. Everything. Yeah. He's a whale consumer. Also, this is a film that launched 1,000 successful and failed film careers, myself included. This is probably a movie that, when is really influential, kind of kickstarted my love of outside of animation, just film overall, and really kind of led to me ultimately going to film school, getting into screenwriting, getting into storytelling. So this probably started that snowball for me, because it was just that unique and that good, and you realize, oh, movies can be this. They don't just have to be a specific thing. They could be a bunch of different things. And like, I think Kill Bill and Tarantino in general is kind of a gateway to like more avant-garde type movies in cinema, that you're like, oh, these things exist. I didn't know about these things. And the number of kids who were like all about Kill Bill in film school is staggering. Obnoxious.
Really?
Obnoxious. Oh, yeah. You get to the point where you get there, you're like, oh, my God. Am I a basic bitch here in film school because I like Kill Bill? That's kind of how I felt. That's kind of how it feels in a way, where it's like, oh, everyone loves it. Everyone's trying to be Quentin Tarantino. And it's kind of obnoxious.
It's funny you talk about there is a PlayStation 5 game, Sifu, that directly cribs the Oranishi fight. So that fight that happens in the snow, there's a scene like directly, like you would see it and you go, oh, I know exactly what that is. So I appreciate, again, the stickiness of this film. And it's interesting. It seems to pop up more than Volume 2, which I find
it's flashier.
Kind of fascinating.
No, it makes sense. I think Volume 1 is the crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
Between the two of them.
And that was definitely me when I was that age.
It's funny though. I remember one thing, how the interview, because back when they had DVD extras and they weren't crap. Well, some of them were crap, but they actually, this one that I'm about to explain was kind of crap. It was very much just sort of like, oh, I'm so good, I'm amazing, I'm Quentin Tarantino. Tarantino talked about how he doesn't he wants let's have the confidence to have a revenge movie and not have all this other crap. I'm like, bitch, you have a 4-hour movie. There is so much crap in here. Don't get me wrong, you made it entertaining, but you could, if you really wanted to, you could cut this down to 2 to 2.5 hours. Yes, you could. Yes, you could.
Unacceptable.
Yes, you
Unacceptable.
Could. Yes, you could. I'm not saying it would be as good. I'm just saying, don't talk to me and saying that there is no extra crap in this movie, because there totally is.
Zero. One of the other things I think is kind of interesting, not necessarily influence, but I think it's kind of sad. So we've talked about Pulp Fiction. It was nice to see, this budding professional relationship between Uma Thurman and Quentin Tarantino, and this is the film that kind of messed that up. So one of the big tragedies the big tragedy of this film is the car accident. So the scene that happens in Volume 2, because again, this was filmed as one film. It was something that happened without her double on set. And she was convinced to drive. I guess we should save this for April. But I just think it's a sad thing that this occurred.
You just teased a 6-month episode from now.
I did. But you know what? That actually would be fun to do some research into that and have a conversation about that, because it sounds like Harvey Weinstein had a lot to do with the breakdown of that relationship.
And I'm sure Tarantino isn't innocent himself. As much as I appreciate his filmmaking, he's very much just this is all for film. This is for the film. Deal with it. And it just seems, even to this day, where people talk about are you ashamed of Harvey Weinstein? He's like, no, he produced those films. I'm like, all right. I would be a little bit being like, oh, I can't believe I worked with that POS, but you're not even going to say that? Okay. No. Anyway, as far as I'm one more thing kind of playing into the legacy of the movie and all that, I do want to talk about maybe how this influenced his career as a whole. Because I feel like this is you can almost divide it up. It's you have pre-Kill Bill, post-Kill Bill. Pre-Kill Bill was crime movies. Post-Kill Bill was a little bit more experimental. After this, we got Death Proof, which was easily his worst movie, in my opinion. I think it's awful. I think it's a bad movie, legitimately. And then from there, you have his Oscar phase, which, Inglourious Bastards and Django Unchained, which are that's his primo phase, in my opinion. That's his, it's golden. Yeah, it's great. Got the Inglourious Bastards image back there, or poster. And so for me, I'm curious, how do you think the success of Kill Bill influenced the next moves he made in his career? Or did it at all?
I think it definitely made him a little bit more experimental. But you can see, again, if he talked about the fact that 88
Crazy 88?
Thank you. Crazy 88 fight took it out of him. You can see where the scope of some of the stuff he has done expands, but it's never to that level again, at least as far as I can tell. It never appears visually to be that.
I don't know. I feel like that Django Unchained freaking firefight at the end is pretty intense. Pretty. I remember being exhausted by that fight scene. Yeah.
D'Artagnan, motherfucker. I agree with you that it is intense, but I think that the amount of stunt work and martial arts and people jumping off of stuff, both are
actual human fights. Choreography.
Yeah.
Human fight choreography. Yeah, that's fair.
I think they said that scene took 8 weeks to film or something ridiculous. It was insane.
It's because the inefficient way that Hong Kong cinema is filmed. Inefficient, effective, but inefficient.
Well, I don't know how much of this played into it, but supposedly this entire film was done sequentially, which, to your point about inefficiency, is one thing. So I don't know how that played into this specific scene. Did he try to do the same thing for this scene as well?
He did it the same way they did in Hong Kong cinema, where it's they didn't do traditional coverage and stuff. What they did was like they did like a section of the fight scene and then they move the camera and then another section and they move the camera, because it allows you to improvise more on the spot and also keep with continuity easier.
Yeah. So I think that this film was originally budgeted like 39 million, and I think it ballooned to 50 something million after that.
That's so adorable these days.
Right. I'm sorry for the people who only listening. I did quotation marks to ballooned. So if I had to say what I thought that the influence was, like, yeah, I see him having a lot more cred, because this movie made, or as a whole, they made like 300 and something million dollars off of this film. I'm sorry, part 1 and part 2 together. And so you can see where he's the scope of this stuff that he makes is much bigger after these 2 films.
Yeah, except for Death Proof, ironically.
Yeah. I think that was like him and Rodriguez talking. They just
I actually like that movie. It's
into
fun.
Like, it's not good.
Is it though?
It's fun.
It's boring.
It is fun. I like seeing Kurt Russell like be that way, but I also hate what happens to Kurt Russell. It just,
you don't like getting his face caved in by Rosario Dawson at the end.
Listen,
and he turns into like a sniveling little man, like.
Yeah, it was really weird because I could swear there's a quote from Tarantino where he talked about like, when are we going to see Kurt Russell be a badass again? And then like, that's the end of the movie. Like, I think that's weird. So I really didn't like that. Although I do love that scene with the book where he's talking about the book. He's like, you're all right in my book, or you're this. Like, I actually have a book. And he like goes down, he sits, you guys don't remember this. Like, he sits down, he talks about like how he's going to put somebody in the book. I think about that all the time when I think somebody's like an asshole or a nice person. In my head, I think of that scene as like, you got a book, I'm gonna put you down in the book. Like, you're all right in my book, or like, fuck this person. I'm like, so even though it's not a particularly good movie, he is still able to find ways to make something stay in my brain. So
yeah, as far as staying in brain, that crash scene.
Yeah.
Violent.
Yeah, horrific. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Kill Bill probably gave him confidence to do some weird stuff like Death Proof. And I think leading to him maybe being a little bit more careful with his next move and potentially leading to Inglourious Bastards. Obviously, I can't speak for him. I don't know. That's just me from the outside looking in and kind of seeing where that goes.
Why?
And I know why what?
Oh, you think Death Proof because it was so bad?
Yeah, so Kill Bill, not that it was bad, but I think that it was a flop. First of all, it showed that he's not invincible. He's not bulletproof. Not everyone will not necessarily go out to see everything that he does. So
I get what you mean.
Probably should be more cognizant. What?
You said the same thing like three times.
It's not just for you. It's not just for you, Jonesy. Apparently, I wasn't clear enough.
He's not Kill bulletproof. He's going to be more cognizant. He's going to there was another thing. It was like
Kill Bill gave him confidence. Death Proof gave it away, and then he was able to jump into his comeback. Even though a lot of people like Death Proof, even though they're stupid.
Do they really?
I don't know.
Or is it just Kyle? Okay.
Well, Kyle. No, I know other Kyles out there who like Death Proof.
Oh, we know some Kyles.
God, I hate my parents for my name, you bastards.
All right. I think my point is taken. I think. Do you have anything else you want to discuss about Kill Bill Volume 1?
Gracias. No, I'm good. I've had fun. We should end it at the fun.
Let's end it at the fun. Go ahead, do your thing, Jonesy.
Gonna do my thing. So if you like what you heard, do all the socials, like, rate, comment, subscribe, share. If you are a fan or not a fan of Kill Bill Volume 2, let us know. Jump on the Discord.
Volume 1.
And what a god damn it.
Apparently at the bookends, we're just really excited for Volume 2 in 6 months.
I was so close. Jump on the Discord and let us know what you think. If you like or hate Volume 1 of the whole bloody affair, it'd be fun to talk to you. Otherwise, check out lrmonline.com and the Genreverse on where else but on YouTube. And we'll catch you on the next one. Hasta lasagna.
Don't get any mission accomplished.
spot on. He got M.